study after study kind of found that they will continue in your program. So if they feel like they're successful, they have good relationships with you, with their peers, and the autonomy is where they want to have a voice in their program. Is it, do they have a little bit of influence, or they have a say, maybe even in repertoire? Or I even found for the autonomy, I know my students, maybe yours do, they don't love technique time, right? When we get the method book out. But if they have an understanding of why we do it and like why I'm asking them to sight read and do a scale or do a shifting exercise, they'll, have a little more ownership of what they're doing. So if those needs are met, they'll stay. And so what I'm kind of looking at for my dissertation is, how do we communicate that to our, the 8th grade students that are coming to them? How do we show that our programs meet those needs, and kind of how can we improve that practice? That's so important, because if we don't have students, then we don't, there's a lot of factors that affect, not only ensemble balance. Like I will talk about my MEA performance later, but that was a great group. I had 12 firsts, 12 seconds, 3 violas, 15 cellos, and 2 basses. So, and granted, thankfully they were like all state violas, so they were great.
They can play out.
Yeah, they could play out. But, recruiting is because of that. And then also schedule. So like, as I mentioned, when I started at Wando, I taught guitar, and not my favorite, but I enjoyed it. It was a different part of the school that I get to see kids I wouldn't otherwise. I didn't mind teaching music theory. That was, it's a lot of work. You got a grade. I had 24 kids in my AP theory class.
Whoa.
So yeah, it was kind of a dumping ground at the time for kids who had a hole in their schedule.
That's a big class.
But so with recruiting now I'm able to teach orchestra all day, which is great. And then, lots of us have, whether you're trying to get an assistant or keep your job, there's just so many aspects that, it affects a lot of what we do as elective teachers. So that's kind of why I wanted to look at that in my.
Yeah, that's a great topic. And